Welcome back to 5 Minute Fantasy Football, presented to you by the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Heilman, aka Dynasty Dorks, and today we're going to talk about the 2024 Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about the offseason moves they've made and use Mike Clay's projections for some talking points for their 2024 outlook. I'm going to pull some sleeper ADP and talk about the prices that you're having to pay for these players currently, and let me know what you think. Before we go into that, go to Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FFSGPN. Play some best ball, but let them know we sent you. It's promo code FFSGPN. So let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. Last year, everyone was really nervous about Tua because of the health. Tua played very well. He was healthy, and there's still some concerns. He's QB 13 right now, but he's a lot higher than last year. And he's coming off the board at pick 107. You look what Mike's got him projected to do: 23 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, not much on the ground. No surprise. One rushing touchdown, 113 yards, but 4,000 yards through the air. And this is a 15-game projection. He's got him ranked at 21. So you're paying QB 13 prices. Mike has him at QB 21. And Mike White is really, not someone that you're very interested in. Last year, people were a little interested in White because of the thought that Tua could get hurt. Where it really gets interesting is the running backs. Last year, Achane was not, expected to have a lot of work. This year, Mike is projecting pretty much a dead even split: 161 carries, 153 and 51. And then in the air, he is having Achane have more of the work. Raheem Mostert is going off as RB25, pick 83. Achane is RB9. He's going as the 23rd. I just recently did a show, and I said Achane he's getting to the point where you're paying for the upside, and there's not leaving a lot of room for investment. Yes, of course, this guy has RB1 overall potential, but he has not shown us enough to pay what you're having to pay, and he's picked 23. So he's a boomer bust selection. And the reason I say that is because of this. I mean, you're seeing, a lot of production here, but it's split between three running backs. And Mostert could even have more. I mean, this guy had 20 touchdowns last year. So, let me know what you think about those prices. Are you buying Mostert where he's at? Are you riding the Achane train? And then what do you think about Jaylen Wright, especially in Dynasty? His draft capital really dropped as far as the mock drafts until the real drafts because he's buried, but he's also behind two backs that haven't really shown they can be healthy. And he's very, very, polarizing player. I mean, some people had him as the RB1 overall. Then go to the receivers. You have Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle, Odell Beckham, and then Malik Washington. Malik Washington's getting some buzz out of camp. I think he's, could end up doing some kick return for them. But he was a very, very productive player. And from PFF standpoint, he was one of the best receivers in the NCAA last year. Odell Beckham, he's not, what he used to be, but they still have him projected for 57 targets. A pretty good role here: 32 catches, almost 500 yards, three touchdowns, but nothing fantasy relevant. But Jaylen Waddle he's going off as wide receiver 19. Mike has him as wide receiver 22. Then Tyreek Hill, he's going off as wide receiver 2, pick 3. Waddle was pick 35. They have him as pick 2. And so Tyreek Hill, he's a guy that if he stays healthy and gets 150 targets, which Mike suggests, could be, he's got a strong case for wide receiver 1 overall. And you can see right here, it's pretty modest projections: 15 games, 8 touchdowns. He could easily double that as far as the touchdowns, and we know what kind of damage he can do through the air as far as the yardage. No one really I'm interested in other than those two, but honestly, Waddle kind of scares me just with the inconsistency, and you're still having to pay a lot for someone that, you can get wide receiver 1s on their team around the same that you're getting him. As far as tight ends, no one I'm really interested in, but Jonnu Smith is tight end 26, pick 203. If you want to take a flyer, he's there, but Miami Dolphins have shown us they're not very interested in doing anything with tight end position. We saw that with Gesicki, had like 1 or 2 games last year that was kind of matchup dependent, but really didn't do anything. They like their 3 wide receiver sets, and they like their running backs, and they like to use the running backs in the passing game. Sometimes they have both running backs in the field at the same time. Again, this is 5 Minute Fantasy Football. Let me know what you think about this episode. Next episode, we'll present the rest of the AFC East one at a time. As always, good luck this season.